what's up, you guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Audrey.
I'm Taylor.
And we're lesbian and married. If you've never seen our faces before, we're a married couple who got married last April. We've been married for 8 months, and we got engaged December of 2020. We're gay, and yeah.
Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about our experience with living in Florida and moving there.
Yes. So that's what we're going to be talking to you guys about today. I think we can just start out from the beginning. We decided that we wanted to move it was December 2020 is when we decided that we wanted to move to Florida. We were actually just taking one of our cats to the vet. We were just chatting about like places, like if you could move anywhere, where would you move? And I was just like, Florida, like, you know. And Taylor was like, we should move. And I was like, right, like, and then it became a serious conversation that we had.
So the next step is we reached out to like family members, mostly on your side, and asked about like what it was like moving out of state. We reached out to my dad. My dad's lived in a lot of states, so we got like that, and then
my aunt.
Your aunt.
Well, a couple of my aunts. Yeah.
But and then from there we just really like searched for apartments, and then we had some family members that were like, maybe you guys should check out like places to live down there before you like commit. So we started planning our trip.
I think I did like the heavy planning for that.
Yes. Fun fact, I'm not good at planning it.
I did like the heavy planning for that. Like I booked our flights.
I did the hotel, and the hotel was
Taylor did the hotel in the car. Both were like
The car was a Kia Soul, and anytime Audrey got near anything, it went beep 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 beep.
That we had like a whole car experience, but anyways, that's a whole nother story if you want to hear about like our whole like airport like travel experience. But moral of the story, I planned the trip, we got it booked, we went to the location, like the general location of which we were planning on living. We were planning on going to Tampa, Florida, specifically because we were working at Amazon and we were planning on transferring, but that all blew up in our face. We actually did not end up getting to transfer and work at Amazon. So hindsight is 2020. I wish we would have went somewhere cheaper because Tampa is a very big city. It's huge, and we're from a small town in the middle of nowhere, so like it was definitely a big change. Back to the travel thing, we saw what we needed to see. We saw a few different apartment complexes. We decided on one. We applied, got approved, and then before you know it, we're 2 months in of planning a move, and we got it completely planned. It's February 2021, and we're gearing up to move because we're leaving beginning of March.
Yeah, we left March 7th. Shout out to my dad and stepmom. They drove the U-Haul.
Yes, we did ask my parents, and my dad was willing, but his schedule at the time, he was still working. He's worked multiple jobs basically my whole life, and he was working 2 jobs, basically never home. He works a lot, so he was gonna try to do it. It just didn't really fit right with our schedule. But yeah, so thankfully Taylor's dad and stepmom were able to do it. Like they both are able to like work from anywhere basically.
Yeah. My stepmom was on conference calls in the U-Haul.
Yeah.
So we loaded up the U-Haul. We drove down there. We got the keys to the apartment. When we walked in,
I will say it was the longest trip of my fucking life. It was so long.
Throwing this out here, important news. If you go somewhere and they show you a set up apartment, it's not going to look the same as the apartment. So the apartment that they showed us was nice.
She's talking about a show apartment. Nobody lives there. They just have it for showings.
Mm-hmm. So it was pretty. It was what we wanted. I'm talking about the layout and like the floors, the appliances and everything. So we get there, signed out, like got the keys. We go up ourselves. Like my parents are waiting for the signal to come over. We walk up our set of stairs, open the door, and Audrey goes, "What the fuck?"
I remember being absolutely shattered because So let me lay this out for you. So the show apartment, like the showing apartment, is like when you get into the apartment complex, because this complex is fucking huge, like tons of different like buildings and like streets and like areas.
We practically lived in a gated community, and there's like we lived in an apartment complex, but we had our own street.
Yeah, there were like, I don't even know how to describe it. It almost reminded me of like, if you think of like a college campus, like that mindset, yes. It was like its own college campus, like just like apartments. But anywho, the showing apartment was when you got inside of like, you get into the gates, here's like the office right here, okay? And then like the showing apartment was like really close to the office. So like this apartment from the outside, very nice looking. Everything was very pretty, very well kept. Inside, very pretty, very well kept.
Well, the whole, not even just that apartment.
Yeah.
The apartments up front.
The apartments that you get like your first impression, like first look at, good apartments.
And we were supposed to have one of those, but they moved us around
three different times. So we were supposed to, like she said, we were supposed to have one that was very close to basically the show apartment. So I wasn't even like considering that in my head. I was just like, like it was supposed to be first level, because we requested a first level apartment, like bottom floor, because we had a U-Haul, so we had shit to move. That was the plan. We had our address. So I was in charge of like setting up the electric, the Wi-Fi, like anything that has to be like put in our names and like turned on. I was in charge of setting that up. I had to set this bitch up like 3 different times, because every single day I was like, we had a new address, a new apartment.
Hey Audrey, this is Blank from Blank. Just calling to let you know.
Because of blah blah blah. We have to move you again. And I'm just like,
I think at one point we thought we were getting, but like we went there, so we saw the apartment, so it's like, oh, we're not getting scammed, but like it was annoying. I was
just upset because it was like, so the succession of it went, we were going to be first level and then second level. We got back down on first level, I think, and then we ended up on second level again. So it was, our apartment was second level, but it was 2 fucking flights of stairs to get up there. It was rough.
And it's not like just a straight, like, set of stairs. It was stairs, landing, and then stairs.
Yeah, so it was like, it would go stairs, landing, stairs, like this. So it was like a weird like T kind of, and then like our apartment was like up here. Also, fun fact, which we didn't know, was not let know to us, our apartment, so there's the front of the building, okay? We lived, which I didn't even, like, it didn't even cross my mind, we lived on the back of the building. So our apartment, the outside of it was like not really well taken care of. The inside of it was the same way.
We practically lived in a forest.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was...
We were all pretty shocked because they kept the front clean. They kept the front buildings clean, but any part of the back of the apartments was trashy. We paid $13.50 a month.
$13.56 a month.
For a 2-bedroom in Florida. For it to look like shit.
It was a 2-bedroom, and I think it was around 1,000 square feet. I don't think it was exactly. It was like close to 1,000 square feet. And it was a nice size apartment. It's the biggest place I've ever lived in, apartment-wise, like on my own. I liked it. I liked some things about it. I liked the size. I liked that we had our own washer-dryer hookup. Like,
we had 2 bathrooms.
And we had 2 bathrooms, because sometimes, you know, we both need to be going at the same time. But, so, that was just, like, the beginning of everything.
The start.
So, the next thing that we wanted to talk about is the total, like, cost of living in Florida. So starting out with the rent, we already kind of touched on it, but we paid $13.56 a month in rent, which is a lot. So for comparison, right now, we only pay $5.50 a month for a 1-bedroom.
A lot cheaper. For the 7 months that we did live in Florida, now this is including, like, our cat deposit. We paid $400 for the security deposit for the apartment, plus first month's rent. We paid $10,492.
Yeah. In the 7 months that we lived there. Like, and I did want to touch on that we had the regular deposit, which was $400, and then the cat deposit, which was we had 2 cats at the time. It was $300 each, so $600 total for the cat deposit. So we paid $1,000 just deposit wise.
So while we were there, so we decided our rent down there was $1,356. We got like Audrey and me were talking like maybe if we like switch from a 2 to a 1, it'd be cheaper. So she went online to look. And we noticed that they raised their prices for...
This is for a 2-bedroom.
For, like, the 1, 2, and 3. For their 2-bedroom, it was going to be $1,800 a month.
Minimum.
It
could go anywhere from, like, $1,800 to $2,100 a month. And the minimum for their 1-bedroom, because we were talking about maybe just going down to a 1-bedroom so we could still live there and kind of, like, easily-ish move. The minimum for their 1-bedroom was over $1,400 a month. I was just like... But,
and I want to shout out to that area. It was not even a good area. Across the street was a strip club that looked like it was run down. The area was just poorly
it wasn't well
designed.
Kept. It wasn't well kept.
That's what I think I'm looking for.
And like people that we worked with said the area that we lived in was like basically just said it wasn't a nice area, like it wasn't a good area to live. And they're like, I don't know, they could have been biased. They were biased. But the next thing that we wanted to touch on for like cost of living wise is groceries. So I'm gonna start out with Publix. So Publix was the first place we shopped there just because like it was easy and I was just like,
and it was the first thing we found.
Yeah, I've been there before on vacation and stuff. So I was like familiar with it sort of, and I was like, we should go there. Because I honestly didn't know if they had a Walmart or not. But we spent $194 on not very much, basically just necessities. And I was just like,
toilet paper, hair wash, detergent, toothpaste, stuff that you'd need to start. We spent almost $200.
Like, not a whole lot. I'd say it was like, if I'm remembering right, I'd say it was like half of a cart.
We lived in a 2, like up the stairs. It was a 1-trip. Grocery haul. Yes, between the 2 of us.
So, and then the next one I'm going to touch on is going to be Walmart. This is one time that we were actually able to get a full cart of groceries. It was one of the times that we had a stimulus check. Because honestly, like, I'm going to be really honest with you. The cost of living there is so high. And based on what we were making, it just wasn't matching up. Like, this is the cost of living. This is what we were making. So we really weren't able to afford, like, what we should have been, like, really, like, needed/wanted to get every time we went grocery shopping. So this is a time that we got to get everything we needed/wanted from Walmart. And it was around $200 for a full cart. And
we're talking, like, bare minimum, like, bread, water, milk. I mean, you're talking like bare minimum, like I'm giving examples.
Oh, okay. So like, I guess what she's saying is nothing like lavish, like just stuff we needed.
Not like snacks, like literally the bare necessity.
Taylor mentioned how she went to Save-A-Lot one time and did like 5 bags of like the cheapest stuff she could find, and it was still like $70. And like in comparison, if we did that here, I've shopped here where we could do
a whole cart for $70.
Yeah, we could do like a whole cart probably for $70, and 5 bags. I'd say I'd spend like $30 probably on 5 bags.
Not even that. It depends, but like even like shopping, like going down to like Walmart and be like, oh, I need hair wash. The hair wash would be like $2 to $3 more than what it is up here.
Yeah, the difference, the cost of living difference is very noticeable.
That nobody literally talks about.
And then Aldi was pretty much the same situation. So Save-A-Lot and Aldi were pretty equal when it comes to that.
You know, living in Tampa, there's like, it's Florida. Like, there's always like, I think we were like an hour or so away from Orlando, and we couldn't even afford to like. We couldn't even go like mini golfing or something like that because we couldn't afford it. Like, we would literally get paid and pay rent and bills, and that was it. And we'd be able to put maybe gas in the car.
Sometimes like we would be really close to E or like on E, and I would just be hoping, praying that we were able to get home because like we had to wait till we got paid. So
yeah, even like before anybody says anything, like when we we worked at a daycare, get off at the daycare, and we DoorDashed. Sometimes.
Yeah, we would DoorDash and like try to Instacart because this is like the only thing that
gave us extra cash
income.
Yeah, we could sometimes use that for groceries. So as I previously said, we worked at a daycare. Starting out, we made $11 an hour, and near the end, we did get a raise, but we made $11.50. But that didn't really help. If we got extra cash to do gas.
It was only an extra $4 a day if we worked 8 hours a day. It was
they would at the end of the day, if all my kids got picked up, they'd be like, all right, clean your room, and they'd send me home.
Yeah, they would let us go home, which it was nice, but now looking back at it, it took a lot of time from our hours. So healthcare and mental health care is another one of the main things that was an issue there. I take medication. I have to take medication, and I go to therapy and everything. So I have to see a provider, like my psychiatrist and my therapist, pretty regularly. I see my therapist basically weekly. And moving to Florida, I actually, thankfully my psychiatrist had me enough medication to where I was able to take it until I was able to get to someone. But my previous one. But once I got there, I had a really hard time finding someone, any kind of mental health care, really.
I also go to therapy, and I see a psychiatrist. So I do take meds and stuff. So we did find something that was online, but they decided after one session they couldn't help me.
Yeah, they decided after one session that they couldn't help her. And I did continue to see them because it was really the only option that I had, because so something that we haven't touched on is, so it was hard to find somebody who takes insurance in that area, in the Tampa, Florida area. It really, just in general, we are willing to travel a little bit if we needed to, but, just finding somebody who takes our insurance.
They all just took cash.
And who also had an opening was really hard. I spent one day where literally I called, my call list was literally just a bunch of different mental health, literally so long. And I called one place, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have, this was March or April, they're like, oh yeah, we don't have an opening until blah blah blah, and it was months later. So it was just really hard. It was really difficult. I also called someone one time, and they said that they wanted to know what my diagnoses were, and I said, oh, I have blah 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 blah, and they're like, oh, well, they won't see you because of blah. And, they basically discriminated against one of my mental illnesses, and I was just
yeah.
I know that one of the mental health issues I have is very much, discriminated against or, looked down upon, and, a lot of providers really won't see us, but I've never personally experienced it, the discrimination, and, how they said that on the phone. I was just wow. So basically, Taylor was without something. We were trying really hard to find her something, and it was constant. We tried all the time. And with me, I was able to see a provider, and I was able to see a therapist, but it just wasn't the same. I was only able to see the therapist person once a month for 30 minutes because I couldn't afford the higher subscription.
It was expensive.
The higher subscription was a lot. I don't really remember. It was I think it was $150 or more to see a therapist once a week. And so I only saw my therapist once a month for 30 minutes, and then I saw my psychiatrist usually every 3 months. And it just wasn't really working for me overall, and they wanted me to see a therapist, and I was just honestly, I can't really find anyone around here who takes insurance, and I just don't have the money. And so I told them that. I told my provider that. And, well, I didn't really tell my provider that because she just, honestly, I felt like my provider didn't really care about me. I hate to say that, my psychiatrist, she just kind of acted like she didn't really care about me. But I liked my therapy lady. She was nice. And she understood. She was like, I hate it when they say that because, I feel like they just don't think that, think about the fact that you guys can't always afford it and stuff. And I was like, yeah. But yeah, and then onto the healthcare aspect of things. So healthcare in general was just lame. We tried to find like a primary care provider because we both had health issues that just kind of needed to be addressed, and we couldn't really find anyone. We did go to urgent care. I'd say a handful or maybe 2 handfuls.
Yeah,
of
they
times.
took our insurance.
Because they took our insurance, and that was really the only place we could find. So when we were sick, we just went to urgent care. They didn't mind though, because like you can go to an urgent care when you're just regular sick. But overall, other than the urgent care, the healthcare is pretty lame there. It's hard to find. It's like
overpopulated.
Yeah, it's like scheduling out when we did try to find something was the shittiest shit ever. And then hospitals are ass. We both ended up needing to go to the hospital at one point for different reasons. And my wait was a few hours. I know it was like 2 to 3 hours just to get back there. And how long were we there at the hospital?
So for me, we were there for 4.5. But while we were there was a man that was there. So we got there like late in the evening, and there was a man that was there since like 7 a.m. Yeah. He waited all day. And Audrey went out to the car just to get some air because it was hot in there. And I was walking from the bathroom back to the waiting room, and he passed out in the waiting room. And they were all like, oh. They just sat there.
Yeah, and then also something I wanted to touch on is they actually went ahead and ordered, like, so they triaged her in this, like, room, like a triage room, and then...
Put an IV in me.
They went ahead and sent her out, and then they got her... drew blood, put an IV in her, but it was literally just like the little, like, I don't know what it's called, like the piece that goes into your vein, and so she was just sitting like this, or was it here or here?
I think they put it.
I think it was here.
Here.
Oh, here. So it was here.
Arm.
It was in the cruciform. And
terrible placement.
Yeah, and so it was just sitting there for hours, and she was in pain and like all this stuff, and like I'm just like. Wow. Like, and there was so many people
It was
there.
a severe, like, I'm not going to say what it was, but, like, the nurse was very concerned for me, and she was like, I'm going to get you back here, like, fast, because I'm really concerned for you.
Yeah, and she was concerned for her.
Overall, I think they triaged me wrong.
Because, when we went, I went to check what number on the list she was, because I knew there had to be like a system of some sort, because there was a shit ton of people there, and I was like, hi, like I was just wondering like what number on the list she is.
It was like 27, but I want to point out the 26 people that were before me had been there all day.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to like be before her. What I'm saying is if the people thought what was going on with her was like a serious situation, triage means that whoever has the most serious situation, whoever's in the most dire like threat or need, they need to go first.
I'm more so talking about like how they were there all day and still
haven't moved.
Yeah. When we lived down there in Florida, at our workplace, or mostly anywhere we really went, like restaurants, Walmart, if people found out that we were together and we were holding hands in public, they would make nasty, rude comments. Down in Tampa, it was just more like homophobic people than what we're normally used to, right?
I would say the word for it is more like outwardly homophobic, like very obviously homophobic. Where we're from is homophobic in general, but they're not as obvious about it. They'll just be like,
or be like, oh, church.
Yeah.
Down there, it's like, oh, I'm gonna call you the F. I'm gonna make you upset and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Out in public, like, we were strangers, and they would say, like, things to us. So that was, like, a shocker, kind of, just because Tampa's so diverse.
Yeah, Tampa's a really diverse place. The fun fact about Florida in general, I, like, anywhere you go in Florida overall, I feel like, but Tampa specifically, because that is where we live, so that's where we're speaking about, nobody really has what I would consider a southern accent there. I'd say everyone sounds similar to us.
So stuck on this.
Okay, it is a big part of what I thought Florida would be like, okay?
We went to Kentucky one time, and he said, sweet tea. And then Audrey's like, there it is. That's the accent. And then we get to Florida and it's like, hi.
Yeah, in Kentucky, Tennessee, they'd be like, hi, y'all. How y'all doing today?
Depending on Georgia, too. Like, I think...
Oh, yeah, Georgia. And Southern...
Long-ass state.
Southern people are so nice, bro.
Okay, I take that back about Georgia, because Georgia people are mean.
They were nice-ish. So basically, nobody there has Southern accents. They just all sound like us, and like everyone there is basically a transplant at this point. Like, came from somewhere else. So like, it's just a very diverse area. Nobody really has like a y'all accent. That was aggressive.
That was highly like 10 out of 10 aggressive.
Yeah, I'd say people where we're from have more of a Southern accent than Floridians.
No, I just feel like people up here just don't know how to talk.
It's a very diverse place. You where we're from, it's just, I'm gonna like explain.
You don't have a lot of culture up here.
Yeah, it's very one-dimensional, no culture, everyone's the same. In Florida, Tampa area, lots of culture, very three-dimensional, very multicultural. It was a very good experience for us, because I feel like if we never got out of our small town and the place where we're place of our origin, we would never have gotten that experience. We never got to like meet different people and experience different things. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, I think that's the only real like other like the experience of moving out of like your hometown and getting to see different cultures is the only good-ish thing that came out of Florida, other than getting married and getting a cat.
Yeah, we got married, and then we
got married in Florida.
Meredith in Florida. And I do appreciate that we were able to, I think I appreciate it a little bit more, because I think it's kind of become a little bit of my passion now, is working with kids. I really like working with kids, especially infants. I worked with primarily infants. I love babies. They make my heart really happy. So I think I found a little bit of my passion there, something that I enjoy. So I do appreciate that, and I appreciate the like coworker like friendships that I made.
Oh yeah, I miss some of them. I definitely miss like the friendships we had down there, but not a lot of things came out of Florida.
Yeah, I feel like I made like a couple good friends, or like one in particular that I do miss sometimes.
As we've talked about in I think one of our videos or something, we are both Christians. Audrey grew up in the church. I kind of did. I've gone a few times, like in the past. I went for like 6 years, and then me and Audrey wanted to get back into the church life. And we found a church that was actually very accepting of the LGBTQ plus community. Got it.
I could hear you trying.
Our first like time going there, they made us feel very, very, very welcome. And we don't really have that up here. We'd have to drive like over an hour to get to one. And when we lived down there, I think we drove like not even like 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah, it was like 10 to 15 minutes away.
And they were just really accepting. Everybody there obviously were involved in the community. And
for the most part, I think there were a couple people who, like, couples who weren't.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know about, like, everybody else's experience, but sometimes being in regular churches, they're like, oh, being gay is a sin, blah, 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 and they'll throw it at you and, like, shove it down your throat. So, yeah, overall, they had a nice church system down there.
Yeah, kind of just catapulting... Sorry. Catapulting off what Taylor said. We did actually decide to attend a church here in our hometown, which I attended for a good portion of my life. It is where my family chooses to go. And I have nothing against them for that. I've never heard them talk about anything that seemed directly or indirectly homophobic, but this Sunday that we went to church,
one time we decided to go back,
it was strictly like God created man and woman are like supposed to be together, and man and woman are the only option, and like man and woman should be married, and there's no other option. Like it was just like I was just like, ooh, and like I didn't want to leave because I liked the worship music and I missed that. Our gay church was kind of like, our gay church that we went to was more, it was kind of like a Baptist-y vibe. If you're like Christian, you know what I'm talking about. And then the church that I used to go to, that we tried to go to, it's a non-denominational church, but it's very upbeat. It's very like
in your face,
kind of like Christian rock. I don't know. I like that kind of music. It's the kind of music I grew up on, Christian music wise. My mom jams that kind of music, so I do miss that aspect of it, but overall it's just not an accepting place. And yeah, so unfortunately we do not have a home church right now.
Well, the good thing about like everything going online, the church,
our gay church is online. Yes. So we'll probably start watching it.